Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share this video. Also be sure to go to D Live and subscribe there, and feel free to leave any links to any content you want me to take a look at in those comments or in the comments below. I'll put all the subscriber info in the description of this video. Um, but what we're going to take a look at today is some content that a user shared with me on D Live, um, of someone by the name of Gabi Katharina. We're going to take a look at her meltdown that she's had in result of the new Groyper wars, the new TikTok wars, the Zoom calls. Um, we're going to take a look at kind of what her reaction is to facing a little bit of adversity, and look at her reaction to that, but it also ties into a lot of bigger issues that our side of the dissident right kind of talks about. I'm gonna apologize in advance for the setup I got going here. It's not I'm not in my normal studio right now, so the lighting might be off, the sound may be a little bit off, but hopefully the content is good enough to stand on its own. Um, a little backstory if you're new to this channel. I know I always say that, but if you're new to this, probably go follow some of the some of the accounts on the dissident right, that talk about this stuff a little bit more and can catch you up to speed as far as what's going on with this current iteration of Groyper Wars. But more or less, Nick Fuentes jumped on a Zoom call about 4 or 5 days ago, I think, um, with a group called Conservative Hype House, I believe. They have, a few 100,000 followers on TikTok. So they went live on Zoom, and Nick got in there and debated, however many dozen people at once, and he debated them for about 7 hours. Um, Gabi Katharina is one of the people that was in the Zoom call, and she was very vocal against Nick. Now, I've done a little bit of research on her. I don't know if she's on the right, if she's a part of the TPUSA swamp, or if she's on the left. I've seen a little bit of some descriptions on her social media saying, follow me for leftist content and stuff like that. So I don't really know where she stands politically, but for the purposes of this video, it doesn't really matter, because it ties into larger issues, like I said, that we kind of talk about on our side of politics. Um, so she's on the Zoom call with Nick and Jaden and a few other people. I'm not sure who was all on the call that night, but she's on the call, and basically she's facing backlash now from her friends and allies, but also her enemies. It seems like we'll get into a little bit more of what she's exactly talking about in this video, but more or less the video is Gabi, Gabi Katharina having a meltdown. It's a doozy, and I know I'm a little late on this, but I watched some of the video today, and I was like, I cannot pass this opportunity up. So we're gonna take a look at it. It's only a 10-minute video. I'm not sure how long this video will go, but we're gonna really break down some of her responses and what she's crying about, literally crying actually. So let's take a look. Okay.
Like Twitter, and I'm getting tagged on like TikTok and anything. The thing is they never.
All right. So off the bat, I hate to go like, I'm not trying to go hard on her, but these are important things. We already see she has the nose ring, so we already know, she's not trad. She's not. This is someone who wants to defy social norms. We look at the heavy makeup usage around the eyes, the eyebrows, painted on. This is not. Someone who's very materialistic. You can already tell. The second thing is automatically be distrustful of people who are filming themselves crying. Crying is a very genuine response to something. Like, that's when basically your emotions overflow out of you, and the tears are the result. So not to get like too sappy or anything, but crying is that is a legitimate response to something that you're upset about, or if you're genuinely happy, people have tears of joy sometimes. Um, Anyone who's filming themselves crying, I'm not saying it's a 1-to-1 ratio, but I'm automatically suspicious of, because if you're genuinely upset, who has time to pull out their phone and record them being upset? It's automatically a fishy one to me. So we're going to take it from there.
Listen to my emails like ever. The last time I had like people harassing me was like they didn't do anything about it. I just like take it into my own hands. I hate it here.
I hate it here. She keeps saying that throughout the video. Check that out. I hate it here. I hate it here.
And they're like spamming me on Twitter and I hate it.
They're spamming you
I
on
just wish
Twitter.
these people would leave me alone.
I wish people would leave me alone, but hey, let me go live to all my 40,000 followers and cash in on my grief. But leave me alone though. Which is it?
Just leave me alone. Like, I literally cannot go live on my fucking TikTok without being raided and just, like, harassed.
Oh,
I hate it here.
I hate it here.
I
Oh,
fucking hate it here.
Gabby. And like peep the comments also, like, Gabby, we love you. It's all okay. We're here for you. Why are people being such dicks? Well, we'll get into it in a little bit, but there's a very easy way to avoid this type of harassment, Gabby. You could probably stay off social media.
I hate it here. Yeah, all my stuff is private right now. I just hate
That's
it
good.
here.
You could make it private. That's a good idea. Or you could just delete everything and just get off of social media. You have nothing to apologize for. Nick did this to himself by being a literal white supremacist. So I think what this person is talking about is the fact that Nick got banned from TikTok after he posted a few videos or something like that. I'm not sure, but I don't know what Nick did to himself. No, what he deserves to be banned for having dissident right political beliefs. And then you have these kind of people. These people are always really telling to me, why is Nick Fuentes proud of being a literal cult leader for 12-year-old boys? Look, these are people that aren't really familiar with the movement, but um, I was in DC. I was there for not AFPAC, but for a few of the speeches Nick gave, and a lot of the people on the right, Steve Franson, Vince James. These are grown men. Like, it was not a room of 12-year-old boys traveling to DC to follow what's going on politically with the dissident right. So people who say this kind of stuff of like literal cult leader of 12-year-old boys, um, no, that's not accurate. And even if it were accurate, why should we disenfranchise young men from being politically involved?
I hate it here.
I hate it here. Well, then leave social media, Gabby.
I just hate it here.
Who is that? Sa Maria 697. This is so sad. I agree with you. This is very sad. What a sad display.
Like, no one's gonna say anything, because no one ever says anything for me. No one ever sticks up for me on that app. I stick up for fucking everyone. And no one ever sticks up for me. Instead, they're telling me that I need to apologize for literally sitting in a live stream, for sitting in a Zoom.
I'm gonna go like a little. I'm gonna go Steve Franson mode here. But the way she says that, the way she says no one ever sticks up for me, that sounds like a traumatic experience in her past. It sounds like something has happened in her past where no one ever believes me, no one ever sticks up for me. So does that mean that there was some abuse there or some kind of negative traumatic childhood experience? Because a lot of these people, you get the nose ring, the nose piercing, the overdoing it on the makeup. A lot of those people are overcompensating for something that happened in their past and they're looking for acceptance. So when you really break it down, what's happening here is the group that she thought she was getting acceptance from, albeit the right, the left, I don't know where she falls exactly. But whatever group she had support from that kind of acted as a support group for her, more or less, she lost that support group because she was on this Zoom call debating Nick, or she didn't debate him hard enough. She gets into that, but this is someone who's kind of broken, and that's kind of where the sympathy comes in. This is someone who's already broken and someone who doesn't have maybe a strong family or a strong community around her that she can fall back on if that TikTok group was to leave her, or if the Twitter group didn't like her for some reason. A normally adjusted person, a well-adjusted person, would fall back into their family or their church. This person doesn't have that, and she's probably actively fighting against that for whatever reason.
Call, which wasn't even my fault.
Shoot, we're only
Like,
a minute in.
total
I'm
last
gonna let
minute
this play.
thing.
Ew.
Like, do you
Stop
know
blowing
how
your
hard it
nose
is
on camera.
to
Gross.
sit there while people are like talking shit about you on live, like 500 people who on there and just like take videos of you and then they post it on Twitter and make fun of you and make memes of you because
Oh,
you're a woman. Literally just because you're a woman. Like people who say that women are depressed in 2020, like I would love you to sit in my fucking live stream. Like please sit in my live streams and like
God.
tell me that women are depressed in 2020.
That leads me to believe that she's a leftist because she's playing the whole oppression game. Women aren't oppressed in 2020. Well, look at my live chat. I get hate. The fact that you even have a voice is proof that there's not this female oppression that you're talking about. 100 years ago, if you tried to go live at the public square and talk about whatever you talk about, if you were to do that 100 years ago, there would be repercussions, and those repercussions would be wrong because I'm for women's rights. I'm for women being involved in politics at every single level. But the oppression you're talking about doesn't exist, and getting critiqued and criticized because of your beliefs isn't proof of oppression. It's proof that you have a say in the public space. So, you know, imagine thinking that I get criticized, therefore I'm oppressed. Okay, well then there's a lot of oppressed people then who get oppressed. That's a very poor standard.
Because I literally have people who hate me right now just because I'm a woman with like a large platform and my platform is bigger than their fucking cult leader.
I'm sure they hate you because of your large platform.
It's so backwards. They're like, why don't you debate this person? There's no debating with a fucking cult leader. There's no debating with a fucking cult leader.
Hold on, I'll let that play. But think about what a cope that is. I'm not smart enough to beat this person, therefore they're just a cult leader that I can't defeat and there's no debating with them. Like, what does that even mean? Like, where's your intelligence level at? Either you can debate someone and beat them or you can't. If you can't beat him, then you're not maybe not as smart, but not your ideas aren't well thought out enough to debate someone. Like, how that's not oppression, and what do you mean there's no debating a cult leader? Like, if he's literally wrong about what he's saying, and this was the clip I went into the other night, if Nick is wrong about what he's saying, or anyone on our side of the dissident right movement is wrong about what they're saying, then debate them and prove them wrong. But this cope of like, oh, I just can't debate them because it's a cult leader and I don't debate. That's a cope for not being as smart as us and for not having your ideas well thought out. So that's a cope right there, and especially someone like this, like physiognomy check.
I'm taking a break for a couple days. I was like
Good.
just about to hit 70K too, so like
Oh,
this is great.
my 70K. Look how much she like sobers up there from her fake crying. That's a little funny thing I just noticed. Watch this. She gets very serious when she talks about her following count. I was about to hit 70K. Watch this. She's crying.
I'm taking a break for a couple days. I was like just about to hit 70K
70K
too,
too.
so like this is great.
This is great. This is a speed bump for her. She's using the tears to gain to gain buy-in from simps, men who will care that she's crying. And to be fair, it's a lot of women in her chat like, "Girl, you're okay." And maybe that's the type of support she needs, but she doesn't need to be in the political square. If this is your reaction to just getting roasted for a little bit by some Groypers on Twitter, whew,
Basically my live on TikTok got rated by like 500 Groypers and alt-right people.
Groypers aren't all
And
right. All right hates our
they're threatening to like report my
Nick
account.
Fuentes supports segregation and denies the Holocaust. He is actually trash. He's not. I'm reading a comment here. What? Yeah, that's just not true. But anyway,
Because their fucking cult leader's account got taken
cult
down.
leader again. They have to use ad hominems to deflect from the fact they
He
can't
is a
beat our
Nazi.
arguments.
He's literally a fucking Nazi.
No, he's not. None of us are. I'm black and I'm a supporter.
He literally is, like...
He literally is. She doesn't even qualify there. He is literally that? You don't know the definition of literally then, Gabi.
What the fuck am I supposed to do?
You're supposed to log off from
These people
twitter.com.
are like, you're on a list, like, you're gonna get what you deserve. These people are like, literally threatening my life.
Like literally?
Telling me they're gonna, like...
More likely than not, it was probably some ill-advised Groyper in her comments who was making a Joker reference about the Robert De Niro scene with Joaquin Phoenix, the last scene. I'm not going to say it because I don't want to get banned or something, but that's probably the joke they were making. You get what you effing deserve. That's what Joaquin Phoenix said. So, yeah, ill-advised joke, but is this really something to cry over?
leak my address. Like, they leak my address, I don't care. Like, people have done it before. But, like, these people are making, like, really, like, violent threats against me.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm one of the people who they will actually show up to my house and do
no, you're
something.
not. You're not
So,
that important. And then also think about this. She's like, these people have violent threats against me, and I'm someone they would really show up and hurt. Okay, look at someone like, and I'm not going conning TPUSA mode here, but look at someone like Donald Trump. This guy has had his murder depicted in music videos and by what's her name, that red Kathy Griffin. She like held up his head, super violent, gory stuff, and it's like you're worried about some Pepe and Frog Groyper avatars in your mentions. You're not a serious person. If you can't handle this, then you're gonna have a tough road ahead of you, Gabby.
like, trying not to stay at my house, but, like, I don't know where to go.
Oh my gosh, this woman is a wreck. This woman
No, there's
husband.
no difference. No, there's absolutely no difference.
Look at her like trying to feign tears while
Yeah, no, and
scrolling
I
through her
didn't even say,
comments. Like,
like, people got mad, like, okay, like, people mad at me because I didn't say anything on the Zoom. People are getting mad at me because, like, fucking Groypers are getting mad at me, or because they're fucking, like, neo-Nazis. And
cop
then
out.
there are people who, like, are on my side who are mad at me because I refuse to apologize for something that's not my fault.
Welcome to
Like,
welcome to dissident politics. Like everyone's mad at you. That's how it works. I talk to normie Republicans all the time who are like, "Oh, this guy's too far to the right of me," and of course, anyone to the left of me thinks that I am what the people to the right, the people to the left of me buy into everything that CNN, MSNBC, all of them say about us. So it's like, welcome to the club. Everyone is mad at you. That's usually a sign you're doing something right. Not in her case, because she's just not that bright, but that's usually a good sign. And she should just be happy she has a voice and a platform. Like, imagine breaking down because of this. I couldn't be me. Couldn't be me.
what am I supposed to apologize for? I'm just wondering.
Make the hate stop. I'll apologize. Just make it stop. I'll get into it at the end, but that proves a much larger point that we've been talking about for a while. Anything. I just want to be liked. That's where she's coming from. I just want to be liked. I will apologize for whatever you want me to apologize for. Just like me, please. Please. Just like me.
And everyone's just telling me, they're like, oh yeah, like, it's not a big deal, it's not a big deal, like, and all these people telling me this are literally, like, fucking white men who they will never go after. Like, I am, like, their hate icon right now. I'm literally their fucking hate icon. Like, I got kicked out of the group that, like, I was a fucking original member of for no reason, aside from the fact that I refused to apologize to someone who's literally a toxic fucking bitch. She's a
The
bitch.
drama. Yeah, look at that reaction. That was a very visceral reaction.
Toxic fucking bitch.
She got
For
very
no
serious
reason,
there.
aside from the fact that I refuse to apologize to someone who's literally a toxic fucking bitch. She's a
She
bitch.
does a double take. She's very serious. She doesn't like that person. I don't know who that is.
Like, did someone, like, message me? No, I didn't get kicked from Liberal Hypos. I got kicked from, Ladies on the Left. Because I refused to
Oh.
apologize to Talia and the rest of Ladies on the Left.
Oh.
Because, I was in a Zoom with fucking Nick Fuentes, and I like the thing with,
So
so I joined that.
that's what it is. She's crying because she got kicked out of her leftist group. Okay, I thought maybe she was with TPUSA or something. No, she's mad because her liberal friends are mad she wasn't able to effectively debate Nick. That's even funnier because, like, imagine being her. You have this big group of people that are like, "You go, girl. You're a leftist. Like, hell yeah!" And you jump on a call with Nick and Groypers, and you just like are ill-equipped to handle any issue.
That live every single night.
Mm. She logged onto her little laptop that night and was like, "Hell yeah, another Zoom call. Time to be a cool leftist on this call." And it's like, "Oh, the Groypers are here," and she's like, "Oh, what do I do? What do I do?" In that sense, I do feel bad for her because she showed up to a gunfight with like
Like, I
a
like
pencil.
go on this live every single. Oh, now they're all following me on fucking Instagram, fucking TikTok. Now they're all following me on fucking Twitter. All the fucking because they don't want to seem problematic. They're all fucking problematic.
Yeah, she has since deleted her
I
Twitter. I
didn't
think
do
that's funny.
anything.
We actually, good job, guys. We got it. We got her off Twitter. One less on Twitter.
I literally did nothing. Know why they kicked me out? Because I was in a live stream. Because I was in a Zoom. Because I sat in a Zoom with a neo-Nazi and I refused to apologize for it.
Not a
And then when they
neo-Nazi.
decided to
You're
confront me
weak.
about it, I said that they were being toxic because they were being toxic. They were being passive aggressive and trying to guilt me into like getting into like the fucking getting like to fucking apologize to them. Why would I apologize? What do I have?
She thinks like being passive aggressive is toxic. She doesn't even know what these words mean. And again, she's a leftist, so she's playing into the whole toxic verbiage, like calling things toxic. It's like, uh, no, you don't understand what these things mean. Passive aggressiveness is not toxicity. It can be toxic, but inherent, it's not necessarily toxic. Um, and to think that this girl,
Have to apologize for? If you literally look up Groyper on Twitter, one of the first things that come up is me. Like, numerous things of me.
oh, girl, oh, this is rough. Tough road for Gabby. Mm, how much more do we have of this?
They're like, you're all for holding people accountable. They're like, you're all for holding people accountable. I can't believe that you, of all people, wouldn't hold yourself accountable for this. Like, what did I do? Like, you guys are being attacked. You guys are the ones being made fun of on fucking Twitter nonstop. Oh my god. Stop making everything about you, you fucking selfish cunt.
Whoa, whoa.
I don't even care if she fucking hears this. She can't. She's a bitch.
This is not someone who's well. This is a mentally unwell person. Sadly, this is like most of the girls that are like available now, if you want to call it that. But this isn't a like, what person has this reaction to getting some hate on Twitter? Come on, come on. This is like playground playground tier. Like this is like the equivalent of like one of your friends in fourth grade and you guys have a tiff about like someone cheated in playing freeze tag and then you go to cry and like you yeah, this is not good. This is not a good this is not a well-adjusted person, I'll say that. This is someone who can't handle the slightest bit of adversity. Ew, stop doing ew. It's disgusting. Stop blowing your nose on stream. I hate
Like, I
that.
fucking hate people so much.
Just
I
log
swear to God, if
off,
they get my
Gabby.
fucking account deleted, I will sue a bitch.
Her biggest concern is like whether or not she keeps her clout. That's the thing. That's the other thing. Like, it would be one thing if she genuinely was like, my friends hate me. I've lost everything. I've gotten fired from my job. My family won't talk to me, which has happened to a lot of people on the right. If they go further to the right of Ben Shapiro, life ruined, career ruined. Yeah, the whole nine. She gets a couple frog avatars in her Twitter mentions, and she's about ready to end it. It seems like calm down, just log off. Then we don't. God, it's all about her accounts too. It's all about if they get me banned, that's when I'm gonna throw a fit if they get me banned. And earlier we paused it where she said, "Oh, I was about to hit 70K. That's great." That's all she cares about. This is her world, is her accounts, her following count. This is someone who is kind of not disconnected from reality, but disconnected from community in a traditional sense. 50 years ago, this person would have had the church, they would have had a family. I don't know how old she is. She's probably 20 to 22 based on the looks of it, but She would have had a family. She would have been involved in church, community groups, neighborhood groups, tight-knit communities, other women she could count on, a strong husband, maybe, brothers, sisters, a mother and a father, father-in-law, mother-in-law. But this person, in replacement of that, she's replaced that with TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, her accounts. It's not even about losing money for her. She's not even worried about her income. She's worried about her following count, her accounts. Stay away from these type of women.
Exactly, I have nothing to be held accountable for. Yeah, no, they kicked me out for being problematic because I didn't apologize
A woman not taking responsibility and saying that she shouldn't be held accountable for any, huh? Never heard that before.
for sitting on a Zoom and not saying anything. They literally found a way to make me getting harassed online into them being a victim. Somehow them being oh yeah, they're like super toxic. They're disgusting. You know what they did today? I have nothing to lose now actually. So let me just say exactly what happened today. So someone sent a video in the group, and it was like how people send TikToks in group chats. So someone sent a TikTok of someone simping for Nick, me, and Izzy, and I was like, oh my god, me, Nick, and Izzy all in the same group. Like what? Like, that's weird. Like, was what I said. And then Talia goes, well, you associate yourself with problematic Republicans, so I don't understand why you're so... And then I didn't respond because I was like, how, like,
She's
you're
true.
being a shady cunt. Like, you're blatantly being a
This
cunt.
woman's gross.
Sit down.
She's gross. The other thing too is she's treating this is. I'll wait till the end on this one. We only have 40 seconds left.
And then, like, no one else talked about it. And then someone was like, well, I'm just wondering why you guys haven't, like, talked about it. Like, why you haven't brought it up. And they kept making a joke of it. Like, kept making a joke of it. And, like, being passive-aggressive. I'm like, if you have a problem with me, why don't you put on your big girl fucking pants and say something instead of being a fucking
This girl is talking about putting on her big girl pants when she's on an Instagram stream crying because people are mad at her. Context.
bitch and talking about me behind my fucking back? Goddamn bitch.
Using the Lord's name in vain, that's not cute.
I won't expose them because then I'll give them the satisfaction they want. And then, it's literally, these are the people who are forcing me to apologize. We have Henry, who is left his best. We have Talia, which is lobotomized me daddy. And we have Justin, which is...
All right. Yeah. So that was her whole video. We took a look at the whole thing. Um, the big takeaways from that. A phrase comes to mind. If you can't, I don't know if this is not optical or not, but if you can't take the heat, get back in the kitchen. I hate to say it that way. It doesn't apply to all women. It applies that phrase right there. It really applies to a certain genre of women. It's young, politically active women. Young and politically active. I would put it under the age of 30 and very vocal and outspoken. I'm very cautious of that because what we see here, this video is a perfect example. At the slightest sense of adversity, someone shows a little bit of resistance to their ideas, she gets some hate. What is she willing to do? She's willing to tell me what I need to apologize for. I'll do it. And this girl is a bitch, and she's a and I'm not going to say it because who knows if they're going to try to ban me for saying these words, but she will do whatever it takes to get out of this situation. She wants her clout. She wants her accounts. That's what she's in it for. She wants popularity. And you got to wonder about people like that, man. It's I wouldn't want someone like that in our movement. Wouldn't want it. That's a lot of baggage right there. And also, she's talking about, on our side of politics, we're in this because we care about the message. Like, I wouldn't be doing this channel if I really thought, if I was a shill, like there would be nothing in it for me. We're not making money off this. She's treating her political beliefs like it's a high school clique. Listen how she's talking. She's like, "That's stupid. She banned me, and if she does this, then stop being It's like high school drama. I don't treat things like that. I don't. I care about this movement because I care about the ideas, and I want to advance America first, and I care about American workers. and America and American people. What does she care about? She cares about her accounts, her TikTok, her Twitter. Meaningless. Meaningless. I don't know if Gabby will ever see this. I don't really care. I don't even know I don't know where she exists online. I've never heard of her before this thing. But Gabby, if you ever see this, take a break. Take a break from online, hang out with your family, maybe rebuild some of the connections that you're hurting from. I see a lot of pain there. You don't have a breakdown like that without some pre-existing pain, honestly. So talk to your family, hang out with your dad, get a strong male figure in your life, not a boyfriend. I don't, you, yeah, you need to work on your family life, your communities, go to church, pray, preferably go to mass, pray, um, log off for a little bit. Take a break. You don't need this. It doesn't seem like you're holding up too well. And I would say take a break. I want to see you do okay. So take a break, log off, hang out with the family, figure things out. But Groypers are here. We're not going anywhere. So we'll be here when you get back. All right, guys, logging off. Peace out. Hope you enjoyed the video.